Hey friends, Trevor Burris here with Love It Properties, and I wanted to put another quick video series together for you. This one's going to be on a topic that many of you that are homeowners right now are already thick in the weeds on, and that is in relation to home upgrades. Home upgrades. We're going to be talking about things that you can do to your home. Things that will bring value to your home, things that will add desirability to your home in the event that you want to sell your home in the future. And really just the discussion of what's the best bang for your buck, right? Should you be investing in certain things, or are those things only going to lose money when it comes to resale value? Or are there certain things that will gain a lot of value and are the best bang for your buck in terms of what you can spend on upfitting your home? So I wanted to jump into these things. Quick disclaimer before we get in. I'll be kind of dissolving this into several different topics of upgrades. So we can kind of delineate between the different types of upgrades. And then also I wanted to just kind of spell out, I'm going to be throwing the same terms around a lot. The first one is going to be value, and by value I mean things that will add inherent monetary value to the home. So if it adds value, basically if you turned around and sold it the next day, then that would bring you value back, monetary value. And then there's another type of upgrade that just creates desirability, but maybe not necessarily value. And so this is something that causes the market to be excited about purchasing it, but means they would not pay any more for that thing, if that makes sense. And some upgrades do both. They do both adding value and desirability. And so just so you're aware, I'll be adding those terms in as we go. But for this first video, I'm just going to touch on one section. I'm going to break this into multiple chunks so you can watch it over time. But let's jump into the first category of upgrades. Here we go. Let's have some fun. The first section of updates that I want to talk to you about in this video is going to be major system updates. These are things like your roof, your HVAC, your plumbing systems, hot water heater, electrical systems, the things that make a house function like a normal house, right? These are some of the more expensive updates you can do on a home, but weirdly, they do not affect your value dramatically in terms of your return on investment when you go listing it in the market. Something that has a 15-year-old HVAC and something that has a brand new HVAC will probably not fetch significantly different values on the open market. What they will gain is a desirability factor over homes with older systems. So if you update your systems, odds are it's going to bring you more competition, but that competition is not going to be willing to overpay for those systems because they're newer. I hope that makes sense. The point being, they're thinking of it just as an appraiser would think of it. An appraiser is going to go, it has an HVAC system, it has a roof. I'm not going to give any inherent value to that house over another one with maybe older systems. Those older systems are still considered functional and they're just considered standard for each home. So there's no value change in their minds, and this is why consumers aren't really willing to overpay for the fact that systems are newer. That's important to note. If you're going to do these updates, just realize you're not going to be getting a lot of value out of it. You are going to be adding desirability. And worth noting, if you don't do these updates when you list, then you're going to be getting less desirability. And in a market like this one, where it's kind of turning into the buyer's favor, the seller could be responsible for a lot of concession dollar, giving up a lot of money in order to remedy some of these older systems and any issues that might come up with them during an inspection. So worth considering, if you're going to list your home, these may be super valuable and that you're not going to have to give up money during contract in order to appease a buyer to still buy your home. So hopefully that's helpful in seeing why these are maybe not adding inherent value, but are definitely adding desirability. There are a few exceptions to this rule in terms of upgrades that you can do on the major systems. One of the most common ones I see is someone upgrading from a standard hot water heater, tanked water heater that's either gas or electric, and then upgrading to a tankless water heater. That's an upgrade that is not considered standard, and so often appraisers will give extra value for that, and the market will give extra value for that. They're willing to pay more for that non-standard upgrade. Another very common one is to see a roof that's been changed out from shingle to metal. a metal roof is considered far superior to a shingle roof and therefore adds inherent value to a home. So those are two very typical upgrades I see that are system upgrades, but they actually add value. Now you may not get all of your value back. You may be paying $10,000 to $15,000 more for a metal roof over a shingle roof, and you may only be able to get $5,000 maybe of extra value out of that in a sales situation. But regardless, it does add some value to the house because it's considered non-standard. Something that's been seeing a lot of buzz in our area in terms of system upgrades is solar panels. I keep hearing more and more about it. This is becoming a more common thing to find on listings. And it's one of those things that, like the other exceptions I talked about, actually do bring inherent value to your home. You are adding something that is not standard to the electrical system of the home, and it produces its own energy. So that is valuable. Unfortunately, the market is slow to respond to these updates in terms of value. So you may be listing a home that has solar panels on it, and the market may say, okay, I understand that you paid $20,000, $25,000 for those solar panels, but I'm only willing to pay $5,000 or $10,000 more for that upgrade because maybe they weren't looking to do it themselves. And so until it becomes more widely acceptable, until it becomes more widely desired, those systems are not going to fetch as much value as they cost to install on the open market. There are exceptions, obviously. You may get someone who just loves solar panels. They find a home with solar panels on it and they're willing to way overpay for that, and that could happen. But as a rule, I would say, and not an exception, solar panels are a great investment for energy efficiency, but not something I would say is going to bring you a short-term value boost in terms of resale value. So that was just category one on the upgrade list. I want to break out a couple of other videos for you, but I'll separate those into separate videos so you don't have to sit here and watch my face for too long. But we're gonna jump into some different categories and talk about things like cosmetic upgrades, exterior upgrades, structural upgrades. These are all really important things that you can do to raise the value of your house or add desirability to your home. And if you're thinking about listing, you want to consider all of these and consider where to best put your money. So stay tuned. There's going to be some more great content talking all about upgrades very soon. Thanks, guys. Have a great one, and hit me up if you have any questions or concerns. I would love to chat with you about any of this.